So, Fable Legends is going free to play. Wes, is that the final nail in the coffin of a game that wasn't getting a lot of attention anyway, or is it a really smart decision and a way of actually getting, you know, a bunch of people on board that were maybe turned off from what they've seen so far?
There are two very different options I have there.
Yep.
Maybe it's a bit somewhere in between.
Okay, good. These things often are.
Yeah, I think it's a complex issue for Fable Legends. So it's predominantly multiplayer focused. I mean, you can play it with AI controlled heroes and villain, but really it's meant to be played multiplayer.
Sure, it's the 4v1 setup, isn't it?
Which was kind of novel back when the game was announced, but now we've had Evolve.
Yeah.
You're almost like, well, been there, done that.
It is a slightly different setup. It's more of a kind of dungeon master versus 4 heroes.
Yes, so the 4 heroes play and from a perspective that's similar to previous Fable games. You know, sword and shield.
Yep.
You might have magic users, range DPS, that sort of thing.
Sure.
And then the villain is sort of a top-down perspective, almost like an RTS, trying to prevent the heroes from completing quests. So the setup is very different to previous Fable games, and I think that has been Lionhead's problem.
Yeah.
Ever since the game was announced, people have sort of struggled to really work out how the game plays, how it's different to the Fable I know and love, you know, that sort of sweeping story, single-player focused RPG thing. And I think Lionhead have just really struggled to get the message across of what that game is. And if people are struggling to understand what Fable Legends is, they're going to have an even harder time forking out 50 quid for it.
Yes, definitely.
So I think the decision was in part about trying to get as many people just playing the game as possible, just trying it, just so they can sort of see what it's like.
Do you get the impression that this is a decision that's been made throughout the development rather than at the beginning itself?
I went to Lionhead earlier this week, and I had sort of conflicting reports about this. You know, from one person I heard that it was always going to be free to play. Another person told me that they were just developing the game as a game, and then, you know, the decision was made throughout. So I think if it was good, it has been a free to play game for a while. They've just announced it now, but I don't know if it was sort of conceived as a free to play game. But a lot of it is to do with the success of massive free-to-play games on PC. Fable Legends is PC and Xbox One, and there's cross-platform play.
That's actually one of the most interesting things.
Yeah, it's actually, I had a go at this where I was the villain playing on a mouse and keyboard on PC against 4 hero characters who were playing on Xbox One.
That's great, more of that.
Yeah, it was actually really cool, and I actually think the villain role is more suited to a mouse and keyboard because it's more sort of RTS style stuff. So that's actually really cool. But yeah, like League of Legends,
you see that as being the inspiration?
Massive influence, and they admit that. You know, the people I spoke to there was like, yeah, League of Legends is a business model, as a business is hugely successful, and the people who play League of Legends absolutely love it and are happy to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds on it because they feel like they're getting good value. So.
And there's an element of fairness there as well, which is sometimes lacking in free-to-play games or freemium games, as we probably should start calling them. That's kind of why I asked whether or not you thought it had always been designed with that in mind or not. So how are the microtransactions handled then?
Right, so if you know how League of Legends work, it's basically the same.
Okay.
So the game will launch with 4 characters in free rotation, and then after 2 weeks, 4 new characters will be added to the free rotation. So you could theoretically play for free forever, the entire game, doing all of the quests. None of the quests are behind any kind of paywall. There's no death grind or energy gate or anything like that. You could just stick with the free heroes as they become available forever and play the game. But if you want to unlock one of the characters, say you've played it for free for 2 weeks, and you want to keep playing it, but it's been removed from the free rotation, you can unlock it for use permanently, just like League of Legends. You can use in-game currency, which is silver coins, to do this.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't even realise it was an option.
Yeah, you can as you play the game, you get silver coins through just normal gameplay. You could unlock a character that way, or you can spend real money
Sure.
They haven't decided how much they're going to cost. I asked, but I imagine they'll cost the same as League of Legends characters.
To be honest, this doesn't sound anywhere near as disgusting as I was, worried it might. Because just because, at least from our perspective, it is quite a sudden shift to suddenly it is free to play. By the way, that sometimes suggests some rushed decisions.
It never had a business model before.
Yeah.
So it's not like this was a full price game that has switched to free to play. It's not like an MMO that's a subscription game and then all of a sudden has gone free to play because it's not doing very well. Mm-hmm. This game is in closed beta, it's not even out yet. It's just that they've announced the business model.
Sure.
It's not as bad as you might think. Lionhead were very, very keen to stress that everything that you in the game can be achieved through normal gameplay. Now, we all know what that typically means.
Yep.
That means that it will take you ages to get all of the heroes if you were just trying to grind coins so that you wouldn't have to pay. And so I asked, and they estimate that if you just through normal gameplay, it will take you about 2 weeks to earn enough silver coins to unlock a character, a hero.
What's normal gameplay?
Normal gameplay is just doing the quests.
Right, okay.
The way the game is structured is they want you to go through the storyline, which is like 15 odd quests or whatever it is. And then you'll repeat quests to try and increase leveling up because it's fun, hopefully, and also to try and get certain items that are drops from certain quests.
That was going to be something a follow-up question actually. So it sounds like they're structuring this with the intention of having players stick around for quite a while, not just play through the campaign once.
Exactly, yeah.
So what is the reason to keep playing it? Is there a kind of scoring system or?
So in each quest. Mm-hmm. There are treasure chests.
Sure.
And a treasure chest come in 3 different tiers of quality or rarity or whatever. So as you're out and about in the game world playing quests, you'll find these, open them, and there's a random selection of loot.
Sure.
It's tied to the tier of the chest, whether it's like the bottom, middle, or top tier. Now there are certain, there will be certain highly coveted items that you'll want for your characters that are unique for those characters. They'll be like, I don't know, they'll be considered like the legendary sort of stuff in another game, or epic or whatever.
In the MMO you're choosing.
Those chests out in the game world, those specific chests will have a sort of drop percentage for those that really highly coveted items.
Yep.
So you'll want to return to that quest hoping that you'll get the drop. Okay. Basically, it's an MMO thing. Like anyone who's played an MMO,
sure.
You repeat various dungeons in the hope to get the drop that you want.
Get that loot.
Same with like most games that involve loot of this kind. So the replay factor would be in an attempt to try and just improve your character through loot. Experience points gain. Obviously, you want to like level up your character and stuff. The way that Lionhead explained it was that if you want these highly coveted items, you have to get them from these chests that are out in the game world.
Right. Okay.
So you can't get those just by buying chests back in town.
Right.
So there's a reason for you to go out and play the game and actually do it. Okay. Also, it's really important to say 2 things. One, loot is tied to your level. So if you're level 1, you won't be able to use high level gear. So you couldn't just start the game, chuck money at like opening chests back in the town and get all like the brilliant loot and be able to use it right away. You have to level up so that you're the right level for the right gear. 2, you cannot buy anything during gameplay.
Oh, okay. So you have to wait till you're back at the town.
You can only buy stuff back in town. So if you're like in the middle of a quest and you're running low on potions, for example,
that's good.
You can't just buy more.
That sounds fair. It sounds alright. I'm not completely turned off by the freemium stuff. At all, to be honest. I like where they're looking for inspiration.
I think
is the game good enough to?
Yeah, this is the thing, right? So, I mean, it's fun.
Yep.
It's if you're playing in a group that is communicating, which I was.
Oh God, this sounds like Evolve already.
Yeah, but you do really need to communicate. You need to work as a team. Remember, it's a class-based team, just like most of these games, where you'll have a tank. There's a healer class. There's ranged DPS. There's melee DPS. You know, I think people and people sort of need to work together. Vaguely, at least, and all the while, the villain character is trying to kill you as well. So there's a degree of coordination that needs to go on, and when you're playing in a team like that, it is fun. It didn't blow me away. You know, I'm not. You know, I don't think this is sort of the pinnacle of 4v1 design or anything, but I think it's good enough to. And this is another thing where I think going free to play is perhaps smart for Fable Legends, because it's not Skyrim. You know, it's not like a super involved.
Well, it's not Fable.
You know, it's not Fable. So the fact that the way the game is designed, the way it's structured,
to sell as a full price release.
Yeah, it might have been difficult for them to justify the full price that people have paid in the past. So, like I said, it's complex.
There will be a box version maybe later down the line.
Maybe,
anyway,
yeah. So they haven't decided. It's predominantly going to be a download. So they're thinking about having some kind of disc release where you would pay a bit of money
and it comes with
loads of stuff, basically. But the model would be the same. It's still going to have the sort of hero rotation and stuff.
All right. And whilst you were at the Lionhead Studios, did you see any signs that there's a new actual proper Fable game in the works? Did you didn't see any posters?
No.
God damn it.
They have an incubation department which works on smaller scale experimental stuff, and I've been told that they're going to release something from incubation this year.
Oh right, okay.
So that may or may not be Fable related. It might just be completely off the wall.
Are those the guys behind things like Fable Heroes in the past and the smaller?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Not everything from incubation gets greenlit for production. Some of it gets canned, even in production. But yeah, I think we're going to see something actually properly released from incubation.
Awesome.
But Fable 4, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, to be honest, I think they made the right move with Legends here. It sounds like this is the reason people will now go and check it out.
Well, you can just try it and see. And I think that's the best thing for a game like this, which is slightly confusing. For Fable veterans, a little off-putting maybe.
I think that's fair.
But you know, decent fun. So I think it's probably the right decision.
All right, cool. Thank you, Wes.
No worries.